That's a mad career.
That's man. We're gonna get into that though. We're gonna get into that because that's a mad story. People, we're with George Lynch, owner of Combat Warriors Muay Thai boxing, fighter, and you're like same age as me and Mike's. I think you're 24. Yeah. 24, and you look like 28, grown.
Yeah,
like, I wouldn't really want to be. I've come to the gym, but I ain't trying to get up. But no, we appreciate having you, man, because we've been talking about this for a while, especially with Roberto and that. So it's good to actually be down here, see the gym. It's a lovely gym as well, man. So if anyone's around the area, like, come down and check it out. And
there's character in it.
Oh, it's character.
Yeah. Mate, this gym has been through the works of everyone in Bristol. Like, what's his name? There's a UFC fighter that put these mats down probably 15 years ago. Before that, it used to be a pool club. So the people used to come here, drink. There used to be a nightclub downstairs. So
there's just been history.
Yeah, this building in itself is just history. And then there was BCL,
even the
which
beams
were here.
and running through it, man.
Yeah. And then BCL, and then there was another gym after that. And then we used to be downstairs when I first started training, when I was 14, 15. And then we moved up here in 2018, 2019, I think. Yeah. It's a nice space there.
And how long have you actually had it for, yourself? How long have you been running it for?
So I started under Lee Badman when I was 14. That's 2013, 2014. Trained quite a bit then, and then stopped because I was fighting my brother too much and just being a little shit, to be honest. Yeah. And then 2017, 2018, as soon as my mum got ill and as soon as everything started to happen, I was like, all right, I need to bury myself into something. And I was like, I need to get back to training. Started training in my room and then came back into the gym. And then that's when I met Dave, because Dave started coming 2017, 2018. And then training, started fighting as well, working the doors and doing everything like that. And then I think 2019 or around 2018, I started taking classes here and there. Yeah. And just taking the odd class. I was working warehouse, fucking hated that. And then working the doors on the weekend. And I was like, I cannot do this. I cannot do this for the rest of my life. I cannot be in a warehouse. I'm around all these olders and I'm like, I'm not one of you.
Why? Know you're different.
Do you know what I mean? Why am I here? Do you know what I mean? And then 2020, when 2019, I started taking all of the classes because Dave got too busy with his kids, etc., etc. And then 2020, when COVID happened, it was someone needs to take this into a proper business, or Lee basically was someone needs to start paying the rent, and I was like, I'll do that. And then I think in 2020 December, I signed up to Company's House. I made it a private limited business, and then since then it's just, that's it. That's my career.
That's brilliant, man. And you're a 24-year-old with your own gym, actually still fighting as well.
Yeah.
That's mental, man.
Yeah.
That's inspiring.
Doing what you love. You're doing actually what you love.
Yeah, for me, it feels a lot. I've said it to people, and they're like, "Nah, you worked hard for this," and I'm like, "Yeah, I definitely worked really hard for this." And there's so many things that I've done behind closed doors to get myself in this position, but ultimately, I do feel just completely blessed. Do you know what I mean? I had one of the worst things happen to me as a adolescent, 17, 16, my mum passing away, to being in the worst position, to then getting given exactly what I wanted, and not having to work for anyone else and all by myself, and doing stuff that I hate sometimes, running and all of that shit, but doing it because I want to do it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it makes it so much easier for
control.
Exactly.
You got control over your own life.
I could not work for someone else. It's not who I am. Do you know what I mean? I knew from a kid that I was always going to work for myself. There was signs throughout my life where I should have been maybe this is the career I'm going to go into in terms of running a business. But I never really thought about it until now. For example, when I was 14, 13, I used to run servers online for gaming servers, and I built up a little company. We made $2,000, built myself a gaming computer from that. And then my dad came in my room one time and was like, where did this all come from? Yeah, so I got this server online, and he was like, you know what, stay away from that, that's your stuff.
So you've always been chipping at it.
Yeah,
you've always been searching. You knew that working life's not for you.
Yeah, and I've always, I think, in a weird way, I get along with a lot of people, and I'm I'm nice, but I'm not too harsh, and then in a lot of different regards to everyone. So it's in terms of managing people, I think people like it with me because I'm not a dick, but I'm also nice, but I won't let you take me too far.
You got
Do
a
know what I mean?
sweet spot. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I think that's why I've like slipped into that position well, and like people haven't like looked down on me too much for it. Do you know what I mean? Because initially when I first started coaching, people were like, "Who's this kid? Why has he started coaching? He's only had like one fight." Da, 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 da. And I thought that about myself. I was like, "How am I personal training people? I've only had one fight." But then Dave always like reinforced me, like, "This is what you do. This is all you do. Like, why would you not be doing this?" Do you know what I mean? And I was like, "Yeah, that's true." And then now it's like you don't have to say anything. I'm second professional fight, ranked in the UK. Do you know what I mean? Like, I had a lot of big people say a lot of good things about me. So it's like, oh yeah, I'm here now. Yeah.
Yeah, like this is you. Like you've built this. You've built this for yourself. And that's brilliant.
And the great thing is you're actually like following your passion.
Yeah.
You're doing what you're passionate about, and that's the best thing. Yeah.
I do obviously want to touch on obviously living in Hong Kong. Like I'm not sure. I don't know if you'll remember a lot of it, but how did you how did that come around?
I remember it because I used to have to go back every 3 years to renew my ID. But that was just like my dad. His dad was a military man or whatever. So he used to move around a lot when he was a kid, and he moved to Hong Kong when he was a baby, and I think just some other places around there. And I don't specifically know why my parents chose to move to Hong Kong, because they were living in London. So I've got two older brothers. One, Joe's 26 now. That's my middle brother, 26, 27. Ollie is 33, maybe 34. Just had his first kid. He lives in Australia. But when Ollie was born in London, then they decided to move to Hong Kong after he was born, and then they worked there. And I think it was just career-wise, like, and also like in Hong Kong back in the day, everyone was paying 15% tax, no matter what you earn. So it's like
it was a better place to kind of be.
15% tax.
That's where the business mind come in.
Yeah. But Hong Kong's a beautiful place and like a beautiful country. It's really sad, or not country, a beautiful just place. It's really sad to see what's happened to it now. There's a lot of political stuff behind it. I don't want to go too much because I'll go off on a tangent. Do you know what I mean? Like, being raised in a family where my dad's a journalist and like very proactive on speaking about stuff like that. Like, I probably know too much about what's going on there and going on there. So, but it is what it is. And like, I don't think I'll go back again for a long time. Like, I went back in like 2017, 2018, one of those years, and it was like I went back by myself with one of my best mates after I went to Thailand, and like I literally just saw it before it fully went under, and like I think that was how it was meant to be from my experience with Hong Kong, because like the Hong Kong that my parents were at and my brothers grew up in is not the same Hong Kong to what it was now. Do you know what I mean?
It's
like
completely different.
And like all of my dad's colleagues, like all of the expat ones, they've all left Hong Kong. They're not allowed to be in Hong Kong.
So that's a sign, isn't it?
Yeah, well, you're a journalist in Hong Kong. You know what I mean? That's not good, especially if you're not from there. All of the Cantonese ones, so the actual like locals, they're all locked up. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not.
Especially with the division that's going on with the world right now as well. It's like everyone's kind of like warring each other. It's America.
Yeah, we're a couple
Russia,
steps away from going a bit mad. You know what I mean?
You don't have to really answer this, but this is just something I want to ask you because it just come to my head. With your dad being a journalist and stuff like that, you obviously saying you know quite a lot. You know, you see all the stuff now going on like with the wildfires and stuff like that, and everyone will go conspiracy or everyone will go no. Are a lot of the things we think conspiracies actually conspiracies, or are they? Is there reason to sort of? That's a
good question. It's a good question because it's funny because
the lasers coming from space.
Like, I don't know. I don't know what to believe anymore. Like, I think there's a lot. The middle ground is always the truth, in my opinion. Like, if you're too far one way, it's going to be too far that way. If you're too far the other way, it's too far that way. I think the truth is always in the middle. There's a lot of elite people trying to fuck people up right now. Do you know what I mean? There's a lot of people trying to put people under, especially since COVID. Do you know what I mean? Like, I've had HMRC, I had an O2 recent scam where they're trying to sell debt to different companies. Debt collectors come into my house and it's like, oh, you bring them up, tell them like, I didn't do this. This is all bullshit. They're like, yeah, it's fine. Don't worry. Just ignore the debt collecting companies. And it's like, hang it up. And then debt collection companies still come to you. And it's like, oh, but who's made the money on selling those contracts? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so it's like,
yeah.
And that's just one example of so many things that are going on right now. I don't think like all of the conspiracy theories are true, and like it can go too far a lot of the time, like 5G and all of this crazy stuff. But like at the end of the day, like the elites are always going to be want to be on top.
Yeah.
And they're always going to be on top.
And there's always an
like,
agenda.
That's just the way of life. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And like, yeah, the wealth disparity has become a lot more, especially since COVID. So it's like, yeah, I think there's a lot of truth behind a lot of them, but I think people can go too far into it.
Too far,
Do you know what I mean? Like,
We're like human beings, we do that though, don't we? We take
Yeah.
a good thing too far.
and we just get lost in the story. We're like even I, like, bro, I love watching conspiracy theory videos and like love watching it, but like 9 times out of 10, I'm watching it like, this is bullshit, but it's still kind of interesting. You know what I mean? So it's just
like-
fun to watch.
It's the
you know?
time and effort they put into it.
It's like the new age EastEnders, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah,
Like you want to
exactly.
watch some of that gossip.
Yeah,
you want
yeah.
to see some juicy stuff. Like, obviously, doing martial arts and Muay Thai. How did you actually get involved with doing it from when you first started?
So, like, growing up, yeah, I used to race, like, downhill mountain biking. So my oldest brother got me into downhill mountain biking. By the time I was, like, 12, I was, like, racing on the national circuit. I had, like, multiple different sponsors. And, like, me as a kid, you speak to, like, 8-year-old little George. He was like, I'm going to be the best mountain biker in the world. And that was what I was set to do. My brother moved away, and, like, I kind of fell out of love for it. Started playing computer games a lot more as well. And then by the time I was like 13, 14, that's when I started training. And you know what? I think growing up with 2 older brothers, and you know, it's like growing up with brothers, like you always love to play fight. And especially when you're the youngest of 2 older brothers, like you just end up wrestling or doing dumb shit all the time. And then like, there was so many things that I look throughout, or I look back at on my life, and I'd be like, I should have known that I was going to get into this position. Do you know what I mean? But it's like, now I'm here, I'm like, It's like, I'll give you an example. When I was like, I must have been like 5 or 6, I went to my brother's school we had to go pick him up. I had to go downstairs in the change room to go get him. This kid was getting changed into his karate uniform. And all my brother's mates, they used to know that I used to love to like wrestle and play fight. And they were like, oh, George, fight him. And I'm like, yeah. And they get like a little circle and they're like, fight. And this kid's got his like red belt and his karate, and he like puts his little thing, gets his stance. He's like, oh yeah. And I'm like, look, pop straight to the nose. Nose starts bleeding, blood everywhere. I'm like, oh God, get out of here. Run upstairs, stand next to my dad, head down. He comes upstairs, the teacher's with him, he's crying, all of that. They're like, point at me, and I'm like, oh God, nah, it wasn't me. But I didn't get in any trouble and whatever. But like, things like that, I should have known. But like, it just, like, I read a book recently, like Entrepreneur Revolution. It's like, your vision in life or what you're destined to do, normally there's like the theme kind of happens multiple times throughout your life, and then eventually it all clicks together, and then that's what you just do. And I feel like that's what happened with me. And then obviously like 13, 14, getting into training, and then same when I was 16, 17. And like, if I'm being honest, like all of my lot, like my mates, were a bit of rowdy cunts, do you know what I mean? So like I grew up getting stupid fights when I was like 16, 17, fighting like adults where I probably shouldn't have been. I remember the main like turning point in my life where I realized I was like, all right, there's something inside of me that I need to like harness and use, was when I got arrested at a festival. And it was like, this guy was selling my mates some weed or whatever. He tried to rip off my mates. He then started like threatening us, said he was going to stab us, He like flinched like that at me. I flinched, and he was like, you flinched again. I was like, all right, do it again. Pop, dropped him, left hook, at like, not out, but like on the floor. And he was like, you watch, I'm coming about my mates. You're all getting stabbed up, And I'm like freaking the fuck out, because like all of my mates, they've been up the whole night. You know what it's like, festivals. And I'm the only one who slept, yeah. So I'm the only one who's awake. They're all like crashing, falling asleep. And I'm like freaking out, like he's going to come back with his mates. So I was like really like panicking. He comes back with about 4 or 5 of them. He's like, oh, you punched my mate. As he's speaking to me, he tries to come round the side of me and sucker punch me. I blacked out. Yeah, fully blacked out. Like first and only time I've ever seen red. I came back around and I was in mount. And I remember this so vividly. I was in mount and had my like arm posted like that, and I was elbowing. And I like I'm looking to my left. I'm not even looking at the guy that I was elbowing. And I see this like girl's face, and she's like looking at me like so disgusted. like, oh, who is this human being? And I was looking at her like, why is she looking at me like that? And then I look back and this guy's just unconscious, blood everywhere. And I look and just everyone's dead quiet looking at me. And I'm like, what the fuck just happened? And I like get up, like walk off, like not walk off, just like stand off. And I'm like, all of this guy's mates are looking at me. All of my mates are dead quiet looking at me. And I'm like,
everyone's looking at me.
I'm just like, what the hell is just happening?
Fucking John Jones was in the rave.
Some of my mates were like, I didn't know you could do that. Fucking hell. And then I got arrested that time, and I didn't get anything for it because I straight up got arrested. I was like, he's a drug dealer. He tried to sell my mates. They obviously searched his tent, found everything. I got let out on the day. The police officers were like so sound to me. They were like, as I was leaving the detective was like, yeah, don't worry, mate, you'll be completely fine. And like, but like that 6 hours in the cell, 2 weeks after my mum passed away, thinking like, holy shit, like what am I gonna do with my life? I'm in a cell. Like, what the fuck? If my mum is looking down on me now, and I've been doing this dumb shit, which I've been doing for the last like 8 to 6 months, and then now I've just got into a fight and been arrested, like, what the fuck is she gonna think about me? And I need to but I've got this energy inside of me. Do you know what I mean? I know how to handle myself in those situations, so I need to harness it in like a good way. And this is now what's happened because of it.
And do you think that was actually like part of the like why you obviously the situation that happened? But do you think part of the reason why you were switched, you're holding on to anger from your mum passing away, or anything like that?
Yeah, there's definitely a part of it. I think I've just like always been game for a scrap. Do you know what I mean? But I think that guy just didn't realize what he was poking that day. And like, there's no way I can't say I wasn't emotionally charged because it was like literally 2 to 3 weeks after. I remember like getting pulled at, like, so you get arrested, they take you to the thingy, and then the officer takes you to the like there's like a reception desk, I guess, and then he passes you on to another officer, puts you in a cell, and they're like, oh, so do you know your parents' phone number? And I like look at the officer, I'm like, look, I know my mum's phone number, but she died 2 weeks ago. And then the police officer I was with just like turns and looks at me and he's like, all right, yeah, don't worry. And like, I could tell he like understood. Do you know what I mean? But nah, there's all like, when you speak to any fighter, there's always going to be trauma. Do you know what I mean? There's always something that's led them to this position. And it's like, I see the trauma as like, it's energy. It's like a ball of energy. And it's like, you choose to decide what to do with it. It's either positive or negative, and there's no in between. Do you know what I mean? Like, and that's what I've seen from my life with people with similar situations, that all of that energy either goes negative, drugs, alcohol, all of that dumb shit, or it goes completely positive and they sort themselves out and it goes well.
So do you think like the Thai background in that was a good clutch to sort of...
it saved me 100%. There's no way I cannot deny it. It saved me fully. Like it gave me something to do, and not gave me something to do. It more than that. It gave me like a life to live, and a life to be able to harness that energy that I had, and that I probably still have into me today. Do you know what
Discipline I mean? As well.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's brilliant, man. And then you sort of just kept...
It's a mad story.
Yeah, that is. And you sort of just kept building it from there with the fighting. So then you started the fighting. Yeah,
I started fighting, and then like, when I was fighting, I was like, all right, well, I don't want to work warehouses anymore, but I still need money. So I was just working the doors. So I'd work weekends, just security, and then I'd be training all week, and then train people in the evenings, and then fight. And then like, I probably should have fought more a little bit when I was younger. That's some of my regrets. But I think that's every fighter's regret. They wish they fought more and more and more. But yeah, then this like only really became like a full career in like 2021. I was like, yeah, this is like, from the growth in the business, I was like, wow, I can really turn this into something. And then like from hearing stuff from other people, I was like, and then just generally like looking at the levels of like certain martial arts gyms and being like, I know I'm better than that. I know I can produce people that are better than that. And they've got rooms full of people and they've got all of this gym equipment and all of this stuff. And I'm like, I know I can do that. There's no reason that I can't do that. Do you know what I mean? And especially like, I think a lot of fighters, and like the hard bit is like turning fighting into something that's like, you can get monetary gain from. So for example, a gym and a business, and like running a business is hard. There's a lot of little things to it. And I think, my dad being a journalist in like business entrepreneurial stuff, that's what he specialized in. Constantly, like throughout my childhood, like this random entrepreneurs in my like kitchen having dinner with us, and my dad's just like picking it away on questions. I'm just sat there eating, listening, and then like me then asking him questions, and then like debating him on random stuff. And I think that's like over the years that stayed in my head.
Subconsciously, you've been programmed.
Yeah,
100%. And that's what I've got to be fully grateful to my dad, because like as much as I fucked up in school, fucked up in A levels, all of that shit, obviously because of the stuff going on at the time, I just did not give a fuck. Do you know what I mean? I was like, all I care about is my happiness and training. I don't care about some school results. I think he let me do my own thing. Do you know what I mean? He didn't put pressure on me to be like, nah, you need to go to university, you need to do this. He was just like, figure it out, and like I trust you to do it.
Daddy sounds like an interesting man.
Yeah.
yeah, he does. He does.
Yeah. No, he's good.
That's why I can see like how you are now.
Yeah.
Because you're laid, like you said, you're an entrepreneur at 24 years old. You're a hard worker because you do all the training. You're laid back and like a really nice person. So now I can see where it's like it's come from. It's been passed down. Like you said, like we were just speaking about before we come on about the pressures parents might put on kids without knowing. With like, you need to pass your results.
Anyway.
Everyone, if you don't understand, and a lot of them everyone's sort of programmed into that work, job, earn this, family. Like it goes in a cycle, and yeah, he seems like he's parented you like the right way for you. Like you've ended up like I
think the biggest thing was that he just trusted me. I think he always used to say to me like, you're smart but you just don't try. And I was like, yeah, I guess. Like in terms of school. But then I think as soon as I found something that I wanted to try in, then it was like
But he sounds like a smart guy, so he probably knew that. He probably knew you will, whatever, you'll find something and you'll
and to be fair, like I've got to thank a lot to my middle brother as well. He's helped me a lot, but my oldest brother, like growing up, like downhill mountain biking is a complete different sport to this. But like I guess like somewhat balls it gave me as a child. Like he used to like some kind of mad shit, but like I remember this one time there was this like steep roller into like a 4 or 5 foot drop, and then he was like, all right, you're doing this today. And I was like, I can't do that, I'm too scared. And he was like, wow, what's going to happen is I'm going to wait at this drop. If you fall off, I'll catch you. You're going to wait up there and you're going to do it. And the longer you wait, the darker it gets. So we're not going home until you do it. And I was just up there, like, all right, cycling around for like 30 minutes. I don't want to do this, I don't want to do this. And eventually I did it, crashed, and he caught me. And then like, I remember that day so well because I think it ticked in my brain. I was like, I'm all right. I've just done something that I'm so scared of, but I'm all right.
It shows you sometimes you've got to take a jump.
Exactly. And I think...
And that's a scary jump.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think because mountain biking, there's not a lot of like relations to fighting, but the biggest relation is that it's an individual sport, and it takes like, you have to conquer that fear. Do you know what I mean? And to give me that as a child, like, I'm so grateful for.
Are we talking like mountain biking, like with the trails going around,
so
like, you know, with the small trails, like, and you're going down the hill at the same time?
With jumps and stuff like that.
Man, that's some fucking intense shit.
Yeah,
I was watching someone do that the other day with like a GoPro on, and I was thinking, fuck.
Yeah, mate, it's mad. Like I used to, like the people that I raced with, like if you see this Charlie Hatton, I remember beating him in a race at Forest Dean. I was scrolling through my Facebook the other day. He's world champion now.
Yeah.
And like 400k followers. Now I'm like, damn, fucking hell. Wanted to like post a picture of me beating him on the podium, but it's like, it's too salty. But like, nah, it's sick to see. Do you know what I mean? Like, because now I look at that and there's no like jealousy or envy. It's like, I want that, but in this.
Yeah, just in a different version.
Exactly.
But do you think if you kept at it, you know in your ability you could have been that good?
Yeah, but I don't think that downhill mountain biking was like chosen for me.
Yeah.
Like I think that my brother didn't push me into it. It was the typical like he's 9 years older than me, so he was and my dad wasn't around too much because he was always working in London and stuff like that. So like I was always going riding with Ollie every weekend. In the week I'd be riding my BMX, all of that stuff. So it was like, yeah, it was just what was around me at the time. And then as soon as I started like training and fighting, that's like I fully went into that. Like that was all myself. There was no one pushing me. and like towards the end of like my mountain biking career, like I just didn't want to do it as much. All of the pressure of the sponsors, like getting on these magazines and stuff like that at the age of like 11, 12, like it just was too much. Do you know what I mean? But like I think it was meant to happen, because like that pressure at that age, dealing with it then was so hard that like now when I get that pressure now, I'm like, it's not that bad. I chose to do this. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, without all of the people supporting me or somewhat sponsors and this, it doesn't matter because I chose to do it. So I'd be doing it anyway, regardless of those people.
Yeah.
Whereas before it was like, I don't know if I would have been doing that anyway. Do you know what I mean?
What was a bigger adrenaline rush, like winning a fight or going down the hills mountain biking?
Winning a fight,
winning a
100%.
fight.
Like you get those, like it's a different kind of thing, because it's like with a race, it's like, or like a race, like yeah, it was cool to win when I was younger, and like doing jumps, you get the adrenaline rush from that, and like doing big jumps and all that stuff. But like, there's nothing like the feeling of winning a fight. Like there's nothing. I've never ever, and like I think the biggest one where I was like, all right, this is what I was meant to be on this planet for, was after 2020, all the COVID bullshit. 2021, my first fight back after COVID. I think like maybe towards the end of 2021, and first B class fight against someone who was like 5-0. I was 2-0. Everyone was writing me out, and like area title, my first area title against a tough guy, Louis Pugh, who's like Celtic Prize #1 boy, and like yeah, I just was training so hard, so hard, and I was like, I'm not letting this guy beat me. And then because it was like one of the first events after COVID, like loads of my mates came. I didn't think it would be that many. I sold like 45 tickets, and that was the main event, and it was just like, it was just mad. It was like the whole, like going through the whole fight, winning the whole fight, and then the after, like seeing how happy it made all of my friends, and like all of my friends being together. I like it.
Yeah.
I I love that feeling.
Yeah.
I remember not my last fight, but the fight before, against Josh. He probably sold like his brand, Clinch Mob, and his dad's gym sponsored the event. So like the whole room was him. It was like, there must have been like 300 tickets for him. Do you know what I mean? And I remember when I got called out, it was like, woo, like 20 odd people, like my lot are brought to Leicester, which is far for us. And then he comes out, it's like, what? And I'm like looking around like, geez. And I remember like looking at him, and like his name gets called again, and the whole room goes up. And I'm looking at him dead in the eyes, and I'm thinking, they are not going to save you. Like, this is just me and you. And I'm going to, like, there's something about when someone doubts me, it like incites something in me that I'm like, yeah, come on then. Let's go. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Like, there's got fire in his eyes there, man.
Yeah, I think I work better with that.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I just always have. There's some, like, I guess there's probably some complex inside of my head of someone doubting me when I was a kid or some shit like that. But like, yeah, just doubt makes me feel better about it.
Yeah.
And it's perfect as well, because everyone's always going to doubt you at some point with something you're doing.
Yeah,
so it's
no matter what.
It's the perfect remedy to sort of like push on and
use it as fuel
bite
for the
down
fire.
and go get it, man.
Yeah.
Obviously, you've had 2 fights being pro now. I know you're going into your next one. You won, like you were just talking about, you won your first one.
Yep.
The last one you had was last week or the week before?
Yeah, the week before. So just about 2 weeks.
Obviously, you just come up short.
Yeah.
How do you feel like the fight went for you?
I think it went well. Like, I think no matter what, I put on a good performance against someone who, like, that was my 9th fight altogether. That was his like 77th or 78th.
Yeah.
So like overall, I wasn't too down on my performance. I didn't get hurt. I took no damage to the hairs. There's a bit of a swollen foot. And I know what went wrong. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, I know that there's some steps that I need to change in order to beat someone at that level, just because I was so close to beating him. And it's like, it's that like common saying, it's like you win and you learn. Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah, your ego gets dented. You're always going to feel slightly like hurt after it and like pissed off at yourself. Like, you're not in the right sport if you don't feel that. But like, yeah, it wasn't it wasn't like I got knocked out. It wasn't like I got dominated. It was simply that he had more experienced. He knew how to deal with me in the clinch. And probably I didn't engage in the clinch enough because I thought his clinch was so much better than me.
Yeah.
Whereas in like I should have believed in myself more. But like it is what it is, and like that won't happen again.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
What I mean?
Sometimes that's like you need them lessons to sort of get to the next level.
Yeah.
Like obviously I know you got Mark over there as well. And when I was reading his thing, he lost his first fight, and now he's on an 11 fight win streak, and he's 11-1.
Yeah.
Maybe he just needed that loss to go, and take himself to the next level.
Yeah, 100%. You learn way more from yourself from the losses. Do you know what I mean?
That's growth, though.
Yeah. If I won that fight and just went through that guy,
it might have
maybe
happened.
I would lose the British title fight.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah.
Well, it works in weird ways.
Yeah. And like Muay Thai is a game where it's like everyone fights everyone, and like personally, like for me, I think a lot of my fights so far have been against like equivalent experience or a lot like superior experience to me. So like I'm always happy with the result. As long as I perform, then I'm fine. Do you know what I mean?
That's what I love about this sport and like Thai, because it's not really it's not record based.
No.
It's not like you lose a fight. It's all
not about
over.
fighting
Career's
journeyman
done.
and building up like a big like, oh, I'm 25-0, and then I get a challenge. It's like, no, you get a challenge from day one. And I think that's somewhat more regarding me because obviously having the gym and then building up a name and then like getting quite out there quite early in my career. It's like now it's like everyone I fight is going to be tough, but like that's what I want.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I wouldn't want to just run through like 4 or 5 people and then have a tough fight and then get hurt. Do you know what I mean? I'd rather have tough for the rest of it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
And obviously, like you're talking about tough, you're stepping in on. I want to say you're on short notice for the British title.
No, because I knew about the British title. The last fight I stepped in was short notice. That was 3 weeks short notice. So that one was, but this one I knew I was going to fight. It was that my opponent got changed. I was supposed to fight Ellis Cook, but he pulled out from a knee injury. Yeah, so I got matched for this British title like maybe like 2 months ago.
Okay.
So yeah, I've known about this British title for a while.
Yeah.
That's been like the main goal.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
And the fight before was just a stepping stone to sort of pass the time
just
to
get the
there.
experience and like get myself warmed up into it, and like it couldn't have gone better in the terms of the regard like of the opponent that I had, and I wouldn't say how it went because obviously I lost, but like it made me look a lot within myself and what I need to do, and I feel like that's gonna show a lot when I fight Jack for the British title.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there more pressure or more nerves going into it?
I don't know, man. Like, there's always pressure and there's always nerves. Like, I don't want to sound like arrogant. I don't feel too much nerves. Do you know what I mean? Like, fighting is not like, as long as I get a good night's sleep before, I'm fine. Do you know what I mean? And I feel the nerves like 5-6 weeks out. I watch this fight and I'm like, ooh, shit, he's good. And then I like watch it again. I'm like, oh, I see that. Oh, there's an opening there. Oh, there's an opening there.
Well,
and
you
then,
analyse it, the more
then
comfortable you get.
Exactly. And then when I train as well, like that gives you so much confidence. Do you know what I mean? You start smashing pads and start hitting stuff and start doing well in sparring. And like the level of people I spar with now, like traveling up to Birmingham, training with like Teo and training with Dean and stuff like that. Like I know I'm in the right position. So it's like, of course I'm gonna all of my next fights are gonna be people who've got more experience than me, but that's only gonna make the victory sweeter.
And it's because you're just generally like you've gone so far so quick anyway. Like you said, people are normally on like 77. People are having like 50 fights before they even go pro, let alone you having 9 fights and then you're pro. And you're sort of, like you said, thrown in at the deep end. But looking at the gym and looking at the people who are in the gym, like the Dave Wilmots and that, it's like I'm not surprised that that's the path.
Sink or swim.
Sink or swim. Like he come from a sink or swim gym.
Exactly.
So I'm not surprised that that's sort of the path you're on.
And that was like my first pro fight was like that as well. Like Josh had like 25, I think, MMA fights, and then like 7 stand-up fights, and then that was like what my 8th fight or whatever. So it was like, it is what it is at this point. And like you go Thailand, they've all had like 200-300 fights. Do you know what I mean? You're not, but like Westerners still beat them. Do you know what I mean? Like so it's like, it's what you make out of it.
You're only young as well.
Yeah.
Would you ever look at getting into any mixed MMA yourself? Have you ever thought?
You know what? It's a sticky one because like if I'm being honest, I came into the sport with the end goal of going back into MMA. Yeah, my first fight was MMA. I've grappled since I was young. Like I know how to grapple. I know how to handle myself. I've tapped out like not high level people, but like somewhat like purple belts and stuff like that. I can handle myself, and like and because of I've done grappling before I did Muay Thai, I know how to like translate it. But like recently, more and more, it's like, do I even need to? Do I mean if I can stick to Muay Thai and be really successful in Muay Thai, which I'm, in my opinion, hopefully already set out on that position, career. Why would I go into with the how much one championship's growing and just like how much Muay Thai in general is growing? It's like, do I really need to? But at the same time, I fucking love MMA fighting. Do you know what I mean? I love the freedom of just like being able to do whatever you want and like
be creative.
So who knows? Do you know what I mean? Like if you spoke to me a year ago, I would have said my goal is to get top 5 in the UK for my weight category, compete against the top 1 and 3, see how I do, and then move to MMA. But then now I'm like number 4 in 79 kg category, and I'm like, that's not the weight category I want to get top 5 in. 76 is the weight category that I want to get top 5 in. But like I'm close to getting there, and I'm like, I don't know, man. Like I want to get for that number 1.
Yeah, your trajectory is
like I don't.
It makes more sense. What you're surrounded. What weight category did you say that was? 70.
So
you're 70.
I'm ranked at 79.
79.
That was my first pro fight. Was at 79. But my last fight was 76, and that's what I want to get. Like that 79 division it's like good. Like Dan Bonner number 1 and whoever below him. Like there's some good fighters in there. But the 76 kg division is stacked. Do you know what I mean? And like, there's some real good fights in there. And like, the number 1 and number 2, that's hard fights to get. You have to build up a good name before that because it's like Liam Nolan and a George Jarvis. So like, they're like big
and
names.
They've
won championship.
Yeah.
Both.
Oh, they
of
both
them
won championship.
Yeah, both of them.
And they're both 1 and 2 in the UK.
Yeah, and they haven't fought. Don't know why. Do you know what I mean? Someone's not letting them fight.
Yeah.
Don't know who's. But yeah. So I want. Who knows? I'm always grappling on the side. Do you know what I mean? Not when I'm in Thai camp, but like we do MMA classes here, and like financially, from like a business perspective, having a grappling aspect to the gym is gonna bring you so much more money. Do you know what I mean? Like this
is a big area to do it, isn't it?
Yeah. And these mats are like wrestling mats, so it's good for like the contact. But like if I like the goal for me would be to have like this area and the area next door, and like simultaneously have the Muay Thai going as well as the MMA and Jiu-Jitsu.
It's a business mind tapping.
Yeah. So it's like I go back and forth a lot. Do you know what I mean? And I could still have that with just specializing in Muay Thai, but I just need to get the right coaches and stuff like that, and it's got to be financially the right decision. Do you know what I mean? But we'll see. By the time I'm like 26, 27, that's when I'll fully decide. Because that was always in my head. I was like, keep your grappling up, keep your wrestling up, and just focus on Muay Thai and striking until you're like 26, 27, and then branch over into MMA. But like, if I'm in such a good position in Thai by then,
it won't make sense.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? Why would I?
Sense,
do you know what I mean? Whichever's the best financially is probably going to be the way I'm going to go. Do you know what I mean?
Is one championship like the main goal with fighting? Like, do you look at one championship and go, that's the creme de la creme, like that's where I want to get to?
Yeah. Obviously UFC would be fucking sick, but like one championship for strikers and like for Thai fighters is like, especially for me, like I get a salary from the gym, so like fighting money is bonus money. So if my fighting money, which is bonus money, is one championship level of money, it's like, whew, I could be on all right. Do you know what I mean? I could be living all right. So whereas in like that whole building up an MMA again. I don't think I'd be allowed to go into amateur because now I've obviously fought pro and Thai. There's some bookie promotions that would probably let you do it, but I to be honest, I wouldn't want to. Do you know what I mean? I need to fight with elbows. I need to fight with knees to the head. So like, who knows? But like, one championship would be fucking sick. Do you know what I mean? Especially because my girlfriend's from Singapore, so like, it could work out perfectly. Do you know what I mean? Like, her family lives in Singapore. She need like, her family are kind of getting to the stage where they're a bit older. Do you know what I mean? So like, who knows if we have our kids and stuff like that? She wants them around the family. Like, being in Singapore would be like the best place.
Sick.
Yeah.
Pretty sick.
Yeah. And like maybe living in Thailand and then going over to Singapore and going back and forth in between. But it's like, everything's got to fall into place. So it's like, I hope for it and like pray for it to some regard, but like, I just take one day at a time.
Just let it play out.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? Like, as I've done so far of this, do you know what I mean? I remember saying when I was first getting into training, I remember saying, I want to own a gym. I want to do that. Like, that's what I want as a career. And then like a year and a half later, I was in that position. I was like, what the fuck? How did I get here? Do you know what I mean? But like, you just got to let it come to you. Do you know what I mean? It just happens or it doesn't, I think.
Let the chips fall where they may, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, and with the obviously your coaching as well, what do you get a bigger thrill over? Do you like taking the guys out there and them winning, or is it like you winning? What's the best thrill for you?
Oh, yeah, it's just very similar. Like, obviously, like the visceral experience of like you winning yourself, there's nothing that can really compare, because it's like someone that you're coaching and that you're cornering winning, and like them listening to what you're saying and all of that shit is fucking sick. Like, it's such a cool experience, and I would say it's like fighting's here and it's like one step below it. It's like as close as you can get to fighting, but like the fighting experience is different because it's like win or lose. Like, the way that I describe it is like you have an experience in that ring and everyone around you has like a lesser version of that experience, whether it's a good or bad. Do you know what I mean? I've come out after one loss and like go up to my best mate and he's like there crying his eyes out. And he's like, I'm so sorry, man. I'm like, don't worry, it's fine. But then vice versa, when I win and I go out there and I can see all of them are so happy about it, and like you're like they're experiencing what you've experienced but just on a lesser scale. And that goes like internationally once you get to a certain level. Do you know what I mean? Like the highest level pro fighters, like even ones that I watch, like I give you an example, like when Rose Namajunas knocked out Joanna Jędrzejczyk, I jumped up in my room screaming, fuck yeah! She has no idea who I am. And she's done that for thousands, if not tens of thousands of people across the world, and I think that is the sick feeling.
All at the same time.
Yeah, from fighting. Do you know what I mean? That is like, you don't really get that in much other sports as well. Like it's a different kind of feeling.
Did you watch the UFC past weekend?
I didn't watch it. I watched the highlights of Sean O'Malley. Yeah.
What do you think of the performance?
Yeah, he's sick, man. I've always loved Sean O'Malley. Do you know what I mean? Striker. I'm always any striker. That's my guy. But yeah, nah. I relate a lot to Sean O'Malley. He's a good fighter. He's a good striker. Similar background. He's just gone like more into MMA. Whereas I would say like my career path is probably a lot similar to someone like Adesanya, because like he started fighting when he was like 17 and then only started fighting. Well, he fought a couple of MMA fights, but he only started properly fighting MMA when he was like 26, 27.
Yeah.
And then he focused on striking before then. So it's like that's...
He did Muay Thai and that, didn't he?
Yeah, but mainly kickboxing.
Yeah.
He did a couple Muay Thai fights, but mainly kickboxing. And a lot of fighting in like China and stuff like that. Yeah, and boxing.
With K1, and because K1 and kickboxing are different as well, aren't they?
Yeah.
Like they're very similar, but they're still different.
Yeah,
like I know with kickboxing, like the creme de la creme is like Glory, like just for kickboxing is Glory, and obviously for Muay Thai it's one championship. Where is there to go in K1?
I would say Glory.
Glory as well. They do K1 as well.
So the kickboxing is kind of K1, but then you've got different styles of kickboxing where it's like you've got like American kind of kickboxing, which is like the stuff that like Andrew Tate used to do, where he's like wearing the long trousers and it's like 12 rounds and there's a lot more boxing into it. And then there's the K1 style where it's like a lot more like Dutch style, where they're like normally wearing like Muay Thai shorts or just shorts and they're just standing there banging real hard, and it's fast paced, no clinch and stuff like that, which I love to watch it. But
so Overeem would have been K1.
Yeah. That was the like proper K1 era, where it's like in Japan and stuff like that. But yeah, I might fight kickboxing K1 a few fights. Not that they would be happy about it, but like in my opinion, I've got a style for it, because like I like to clinch, but I love being on the outside game, and I've always built myself being an outside fighter. Also somewhat with the conscious of potentially going into MMA, because like in my opinion, any fighter or any striker who goes into MMA, the only successful ones are outside strikers. If you're like a K1 brawler and you just put your guard up and you just start smashing, like you're going to get a double legged. Do you know what I mean? But if you're a smart technical striker on the outside, you're going to be able to control the distance, get them when they're coming in and all of that stuff. But like, look at Goerge Saki. When he went into UFC, he just got murked by loads of people.
Yeah, he didn't do well.
Look at what Adesanya did.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? He just murked everyone. Yeah. So it's like striking can be really successful in MMA, but it's like, in my opinion, it has to be outside striking, like outside technical smart striking. Otherwise, you're just going to get taken down.
Because Pereira's like that as well, to be fair. He's an outside striker. He doesn't really just run forward like a ball, like throwing legs.
He controls his range so well. Yeah. You step into his range, you're going to get touched. Yeah, you know what I mean? And it's not going to feel nice.
He hits like a Mack truck.
Yeah, fuck that.
Is there anything left from you, like anything we've not touched on? Anyone? Is there anything you've not touched on that you wanted to speak about, or you want us to touch on, or anything coming up at the gym, anything like that?
Just watch out. Yeah, everyone who gets to fight with us, watch out.
The boys are coming. Especially when you see the ball in the corner.
Yeah.
And then it's obviously the two final questions of the pod. We ask everyone this. How does George Lynch want to be remembered? So when it's all said and done for you, you're living in Singapore, you're in one championship, you're taking over the UFC. How does George Lynch want to be remembered?
It's a good question. It's something that I don't even know, man. Like, just as a good person. Do you know what I mean? Someone that's helped a lot of people, and especially people who have gone through similar stuff that I've gone through. And I felt that already to some regard, but I hope I can have like a bigger outreach to help people in those situations, because I know what it's like. I mean, I know, I'm not going to say I fully know how to deal with it and like stuff like that, because it's hard for everyone, but like, yeah, I feel like I've helped people in similar situations to me. So like, I just want to continue to do that. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And just live my life how I want to live my life, my whole life. Do you know what I mean? I don't want to go back into work and no jobs, no 9-to-5s, nothing like that. I want to just live for myself for the rest of my life. Do you know what I mean? And have good kids and be a good father. That's all I care about.
That's brilliant, man. And the final question of the pod is your most euphoric moment in life so far.
Oh, fucking hell.
If you got more than one, you can have more than one.
I don't know. It's a hard one. It's a real hard one. I guess it's that first fight, area title fight in Wales after COVID was probably, because it was like, before that I was like questioning, is this really what I want to do, or like, is this really what I can do because it's like, whether you want to do it or not, it doesn't fucking matter. Like, there's other people out there training hard as fuck, and if you can't beat them, you can't do this. So it's like beating Louis when everyone was like kind of down on me for that, and like seeing how my friends reacted, and like there was one moment, I've got a video of it where like we walked out, and like I'm walking up the stairs, like it's like a set of 2 stairs, and I'm like, Dave's at the top of the stairs, and as I'm walking up, like there's about 30 of my mates behind, and they're all shouting like, Georgie Lynch, Georgie Lynch, Georgie, like some other chant or whatever. And like looking back, seeing that, and then looking up at Dave, and like he's getting teary and emotional, and I'm getting teary. Like, you never forget those moments. Do you know what I mean?
What does it feel like when you're going through it? Are you in like a slow motion state? Or is it everything's just, is it fast
Just present.
Just present.
Yeah, like you're not thinking about anything else apart from
Here.
that. Do you know what I mean? And I think that's to some regard what we all live for. Do you know what I mean? Like that presentness.
And you can tell it's present as well because you remember the details.
Yeah.
It kind of sounds like flow state.
Yeah.
When you hear people
Yeah.
talk about like in fights where they talk about they're in flow state and
Yeah. That's the most important thing about fighting. It sounds kind of stupid. It's like it's in the Last Samurai as well. If you watch Last Samurai, it's like don't think. It's not about thinking. Like like when you're analyzing stuff and like when you're training, like you've got to think about what you're doing. But like when you're in that fight, you should not have any thoughts in your head. You're just doing, just being. Do you know what I mean? And then the best version of you should come out. And if not, it is what it is.
if not, you're in fucking trouble. George, thank you for welcoming us in, letting us use the facilities to film everyone. We really appreciate it, man. Like it's been brilliant. Thank you. People, I'm going to link all the stuff below for the gym and stuff like that. So come and check it out if you're in the Bristol area, and even if you're not in the Bristol area, come and check it out. Obviously, good luck to all the boys fighting tomorrow from the gym. And people, it's been another episode of the Curious VG, and peace, man.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, man.